Hello and welcome again to Piedmont Business Live. Today we're talking to David Hammer, President of the Davidson Group. David, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
First, tell me, what services do you provide at the Davidson Group?
We are a full-service outsourced HR firm, and that means that we provide HR services in a variety of ways with all kinds of flexible kind of arrangements for employers who are in need of some level of HR service but don't necessarily need a full-time HR professional on staff.
Okay. So tell me, I've heard the term fractional human resources. What does that mean?
Fractional is similar to outsourced. What it really means is that an employer contracts with an HR professional for a fraction of their time. So they depending on the extent of their needs, they work out an agreement with someone who is available for a certain period of time or a certain number of hours a month or a certain kind of level of service.
Okay. And why would a business owner use the services you provide as opposed to just having in-house entirely handling human resources?
Yeah, the main advantage really is that it is the most cost-effective way for a business to get senior level HR support without the cost of a full-time HR professional, the cost of benefits, the cost of the liability of a possible termination. It's just a much more a better use of their money for a situation where they need an HR person on some kind of regular basis, but they really don't need a full-time, very senior, very expensive HR person on their payroll, 24/7.
That's a good point, because as you were talking about that, I'm thinking, well, human resources is an extremely important part of any business, regardless of size. And if you don't handle all human resources issues effectively and properly, it can really hurt your business. So those companies that can't afford to have a professional HR person on staff, you fill in the gap very well and effectively for them.
That's exactly right. I mean, they have an occasional need, and when they do, it's a pretty serious situation in many cases. But that doesn't really justify having a very expensive payroll addition. Again, with the benefits cost and the liability issues that come with that, this is just a better model for them getting that help.
Terrific. So what kind of clients do you have? What types of companies and services or industries that use your services?
I love that question, because when we started the business 13 years ago, I was pretty sure that the customer we would have about 100 employees, would have some HR issues, but really wouldn't need a full-time person. We have clients ranging from 6 employees to 2,500 employees. We have them in every industry that you can imagine. So it turns out that for different reasons, different kinds of businesses and different sizes of businesses still have a need for an outsourced HR person.
Gotcha. So human resources continues to be very complex and risky to employers. What are some of the hot buttons in the HR industry?
Yeah, at any given time there are always issues that crop up in HR that need to be addressed. Most of the ones that get the attention are in the area of compliance. So it's a new regulation from the Department of Labor, or a new piece of legislation, new EEOC requirements, any of those kind of compliance-related things. But honestly, the most significant areas of HR needs are more around finding, keeping, developing good people. It's the other ones maybe are more urgent, but the issues related to keeping people, keeping them happy, keeping them engaged, and addressing issues that come up are probably the most important issues.
Gotcha. So a client gets started with your company. Where does it start? How does that relationship begin?
We normally start by doing what we call an HR assessment. We've developed a tool that basically gives a kind of a report card to a business that says, here are the things that you're doing well, here are the things that there are some best practices out there that maybe you're not incorporating, and then here are some compliance things that you really do need to clean up. And then we go back to them with kind of some suggestions, and they decide, do they implement some or all of those recommendations? Many times they ask us to come help them with the implementation of some of the best practice things, but sometimes we just turn it over to them and they take it from there.
Good. So what do you do if a client has an HR person that's leaving and or you have an HR person that needs to be coached? How do you handle that?
Right. We do a lot of work with existing HR people, so we really don't try to replace HR people. Right. We provide some coaching and direction for existing HR staff. That's a fairly good portion of our business. We also provide services if an employer loses an HR person, let's say they leave to take another position, we can fill the gap on what's called interim HR, where we can be their HR go-to person until they are able to fill the position. And in fact, we spend a good bit of time helping them fill those positions by identifying what are the key components to be successful in HR in that business, and we actually help them go out and find the best candidate.
That's terrific. David, thanks so much for sharing information about your business. And if you would like to know more about the Davidson Group and David Hammer, you can go to their website. The information is at the bottom of this page, and it's also at the end of this video. David, thanks so much for being with us, and we wish you great success.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in to Piedmont Business Live. We'll see you again next time.